Uh, so I was muted during that whole time. So I will start over. October the 1st, today. Today is the day that my son took his last breath and lost his battle to IV meth use. So today has been a rough day. It's been 6 years, but I can honestly say that it does not get any better. Sometimes it feels like 60 years, and sometimes it feels like 6 minutes. I'll never understand that, but I guess this trip, in a way, is dedicated to him, and I can feel him pushing me along and everything. So, we always start with a song, and how apropos that this song is for today. So, it's going to be sort of emotional, but we will get through it.
Carry your name, my check of my a love that won't fade, though you're laid to rest. The needle stole you, left me here to roam, but I build you a purpose, so you're never alone. Davos kennels stand where the broken can mend. A hand to the hurting where the darkness can end. For every soul lost, for the ones left behind, I'm weaving your light through the cracks of my mind. Oh, the ripple of the heart, it spreads so wide. Through the tears and the pain, we keep you alive. Maddie, Kaylee, Xana, Ethan, and my own. Your names are the fire and the seeds that we've sown. We're those left behind, but we're never alone. The courtroom grows quiet, the gavel will fall. Kohlberger's plea echoes, but it don't heal us all. Their laughter still lingers in the stories we share. For life's cut too short, but their love's everywhere. I'll walk through the grief, plant hope in the dirt, turn scars into meaning, turn loss into worth. For my son, for the fallen, for the hearts that still beat, we rise from the ashes where our souls used to meet. Oh, the ripple of the heart, it spreads so wide. Through the tears and the pain, we keep you alive. Maddie, Kaylee, Xana, Ethan, and my own. Your names are the fire and the seeds that we've sown. We're those left behind, but we're never alone. Every dog that I train, every hand that I hold, carries your spirit, turns the broken to bold. We're stitching the pieces, though the wounds still roll. Your love is the light that the darkness can't out. Oh, the ripple of the heart, it spreads so wide. Through the tears and the pain, we keep you alive. Maddie, Kaylee, Xana, Ethan, and my own. Your names are the fire and the seeds that we've sown.
I have no idea why that cuts off, but it always cuts off. That was written for my son with Maddie, Kaylee, Xana, and Ethan added in because we are all those left behind. And that is what my journey is about. My journey is about those left behind, the ripple effect in a small college town. It's not about the case. It's not about innocence. It's not about guilt. It's not about debate. It's not about right. It's not about wrong. It's not about pro burger. It's not about guilter. It's about those left behind and the impact that this kind of violent crime has on a community, on people that it never should have touched, but it does have an effect that spreads wide. And through that, I have door dashed across 8 states. I have slept in my car. I have camped. I've been in Moscow for 9 days. The last time I was in a motel room was in New Mexico, which was, I think, ages ago. And then I came to Moscow, Idaho. And just for clarification, now that I know, Moscow is in Russia, Moscow is in Idaho, according to the locals here in Idaho. So, hey, Caddy. Oh, thank you, sweetie. Thank you so much. There's nobody in here, Caddy. But that's okay. I'm used to talking to myself. But it was really interesting to find out that that's the way that they differentiate, is Moscow is in Russia and Moscow is in Idaho. And we all know that Evil CJ has taken this journey. He actually took it on the 1 year anniversary. And CJ has some of the most fantastic footage that there is. If anybody is ever wanting any kind of footage of Pullman, of Moscow, of the route that he took, anything of Coffee House Apartments, golly, Caddy, there's so much. I mean, he's got Coffee House Apartments. He's got where the grub truck was. He has Steptoe Apartments. Caddy, oh my gosh, I do DoorDash here. I get an order yesterday and it is to Steptoe Apartments. I thought I was going to die. No pun intended. I didn't mean it that way. But it was really eerie. It really was. I mean, and with CJ being here on the 1 year anniversary, I'm going, it's been almost 3 years. So I can only imagine how eerie it was seeing these places as the case was unraveling and coming to fruition and things, being learned. I'm sure that some of these places was really eerie for CJ, because I know almost 3 years in, I mean, I walked up the steps and took a picture of G201. Yeah. For some reason, I want to say 205, but it's 201. And I took a picture of G201, and it was like a cold chill just sort of, went over me. And then to see, I sat on the bench that would have been behind the grub truck. And, you can, because, in the grub truck video, the girls go behind the grub truck. And so I've always wondered what was behind the grub truck. And so I sat on the benches where the fountain is, where the grub truck would have been parked. And there's like this little cul-de-sac that comes down 4th Avenue. And you can see where the driver would have just pulled up into there. They would have jumped in the car. And it's just so eerie to sit there and imagine the steps that they took. And then my fat butt started at the intersection of Taylor Road and Linda Lane. And I walked up to the dumpster, through Linda Lane Apartments, through the parking lot into Queen Road, where where the perpetrator would have turned around, walked all around the back of Queen Road into the back lot. Caddy, I didn't have record on. But just doing that walk and knowing that, in before that date, how many times had they walked that walk, or walked over and visited someone, or walked over and partied with someone. And I have to give CJ credit too, because he always talked about how good A&W was. Oh, he is absolutely right. I could get addicted to A&W. And I've spent a lot of time at that 76, and that was actually one of my interviews. Is I interviewed a girl that she was the cashier that was working the night shift the night of the murders. And she said that when she got home, her phone was absolutely blowing up because if you've never been here, you do not realize just how close everything is. I mean, when CJ talks about how tight it is, he is not exaggerating. It is like the biggest little town I've ever been in. It's like so tight. The roads are tight, they're curvy, they're hilly, they're one way, and most cities and stuff are on a grid. Oh, hell no, not Moscow. Their roads go every direction that they could put a road. I mean, and it sort of let me know that the perpetrator obviously knew these roads. He obviously knew the one-way roads. He knew the curves, the hills, which ones connected, which ones didn't connect, because you can get so lost so quick. I mean, I'm going down through there and like, holy shit, there's the corner club. I had no idea I was near the corner club. You know, I mean, and then Sunday, I was going down Main Street and there's a bunch of police with a bunch of people from a church and everything. And I'm like, is that the Church of Christ? You know, so, but I'm going to play a video of me arriving at 1122 King Road. And it's only like 6 minutes because I don't want to take up y'all's time just playing a bunch of videos. But it was very emotional. Hey, everybody. Just wanted to let y'all know that I am right outside 1122 King Road. I have to say that it's a whole lot more emotional than I ever expected it to be. But I just wanted to let y'all know that I am here. I think I'm going to spend a few minutes not making myself obvious because I don't want to become a nuisance to anyone or anything like that. I want to be respectful. But I am here. You've heard people talk about just how small the house was and how close everything was. Y'all, this was a very small house. Very small. And I'm gonna, oh, sorry. Hey, Heather. It's emotional, Heather. But look, right there. Look how close these houses are. I mean, this is it. This is where it was. I mean, and I think right now I'm sort of kind of in shock that I'm here. It's been a long journey, but it's a journey that's been worth it. Sorry. So, wow. I mean, y'all, we've spent so much time on the documents, so much time on the research, so much time on that sometimes I think we forget what really took place. Wow. I mean, look how close. I mean, look, that is Queen Road right there. I mean, this is how close I mean, when I turned on King Road, the end of King Road, 1126, is like right there. I mean, this is like the tightest little area ever. I mean, it's so small. So, yes, there are real people behind all that research. And that's the thing about it is, for 3 years it's been the case, the case, the case. Proven the guilt, and we're still trying to prove the guilt. But if you'll notice the title, it says Those Left Behind, Ripple Effect in a Small College Town. And that's where my focus is now. The case is over for me. I don't do documents. I don't do the pictures. I don't do anything like that. It's over for me. Now I want to work on the people, the ripple effect, everything that it touched, that how far reach the ripple effect is. And I'm going to get out and I'm going to walk this and everything, but I'm going to take just a few minutes to absorb it because this is overwhelming. And no one, y'all look how close 1112 is. No wonder the camera picked up the sounds. Yes, the people left behind. And I started Those Left Behind because of addiction and recovery due to the loss of my son. So I understand it. And that's what I want to concentrate on is the effect of those left behind. There's so many, not counting, the parents, the siblings, the aunts, the uncles, the friends, the sisters, the brothers, the everything. So, I mean, people that it never should have touched got touched by this. I mean, this is look, right here's the chain. This is how small it is. Right there to right here. Right there to right here. That's how small. I love y'all. I am now in Moscow. Oh, I have so much to do. I've got to find a place to stay. I'm here for 3 weeks. So we will be doing a lot of these on location. And thank y'all so much. So much. And God, rest in peace, Maddie, Kaylee, Xana, Ethan. They laughed. I guess it gets really emotional with today being the 6-year anniversary of my son's death. And that's why we always need to remember those left behind. And Heather had asked about some of the interviews. And I'm going to tell y'all a few of them. I had a delivery to a sorority. And I was asked, of course, not to tell names of sororities and stuff. But it's a sorority that we all know. And these girls, they were not on property or not at the college at the time that this happened. But I asked them what kind of effect it had had on them. And they talked about how they are more vigilant of, their surroundings, how they make sure their doors are locked, how they make sure the interior doors are locked, how everybody has an eyes contact. Hey, y'all, eyes contact to me, in my days, that meant meth, I was like, eyes contact? When did they do that? You know? But, sorry, bad humor. But then but they all have their eyes contacts in their phone. They do the buddy system. All kinds. They have all these precautions now that they put in place because of this. And these are girls that were not even on property when it happened. That's how much it affected them. So then, of course, I have a delivery to a fraternity, and so he wasn't on the guy I talked to. He wasn't on property on the fraternity at the time, but he said that his sister was good friends with one of the victims, and he didn't tell me her name, but he talked about that, how scared she was and stuff like that, and how it really affected her going off to college. And people do not think about the ripple effect that this kind of crime has. And so then the funny one was I went over to WSU and I delivered to a fraternity. And these guys are sitting out on the lawn, and they've got the big signs up, to honk and stuff like that. And they're just having a good time. And so I get out and I talk to them. And so we're talking about the case. And I asked them, I said, how did it affect you? And one guy was like, well, it just made me drink more. I was like, that's typical. And another guy said that he was in Moscow the night that it happened. And that looking back on it now, how eerie it is that he was in the city when it happened. And of course, I'm not going to say his name because, of course, if I put his name out there that he was in the city, he would be the next person that gets accused of it, and I will not be responsible for that. But then they all started chanting, Coburger is no Coug. Coburger is no Coug. Coburger is no Coug. And they chanted that and they chanted that. So this guy comes out and he says, what are y'all talking about? And I told him, we was talking about, the ripple effect, not about the case, and he told me, he said, we choose not to talk about that. And I looked at him and I said, well, who are you? We were all talking. And he said, I'm the president of the House. And I was like, oh, okay. So apparently WSU sort of carries some shame from it because, like I said, they all started chanting, Coburger is no Coug. Coburger is no Coug. And they're serious about it. I mean, they are dead serious about Coburger is not a Coug. And, of course, I shook his hand and I left, because I'm not going to be someone that, just interferes with people's lives. I mean, they were out there having a good time. They talked to me. They did their little interview. Then I talked to a cashier at Walmart in Pullman and talked to her about how it affected her. And she said that her and her mom, that she had grown up with her mom always watching true crime. So with always watching true crime, she knew not to trust anybody and to always lock her doors, and that it really didn't have an effect on her, but it had a big effect on her friends. And so, we talked about that. But one of the really interesting ones was I went to a place called Slice Tap House, because I went in thinking I was going to the Slice Trap House, and I'm like, what kind of trap house has a kids' gymnasium in front of it, But it was Tap House. And so we got to talking, and so she said that as soon as it came out of what happened, that her fiance called her and was like, look, I'm sending you to my mother's. I'm telling you exactly where my gun is. You are to go and get it, and you are to keep it with you until I get home. And she was like, what are you talking about? Why are we doing this, And so she said that the fear had set into her fiance before she ever even knew about it. And she was talking about how it's an off chance that it would ever happen in Moscow before again, that she was actually a transplant, that she had been there 10 years, and that the only thing she ever knew of happening was the murder-suicide in the motel. Well, I immediately knew what she was talking about. That was the U of I instructor that had been dating one of the students, and she broke up with him, and apparently he went crazy and did a murder-suicide. And so we talked about that, and then she mentioned one at Arby's, and I didn't know about it, so I've got to research it. So let's see, we've got the cashier at the A&W I told you about, the fraternity at the WSU, the fraternity of U of I, the girl at Walmart, the sororities. There's a girl that I met that partied at 1122. She would not give me her name, but the only thing that she said was that the girls were accepting and that if you matched their personality, they did not care if you were big, small, black, white, gay, straight, that it was all about personality to them. And on an off topic, spoke with the family member of Austin today, the DoorDash driver that had the altercation with the fraternity brother. And he is out of his coma and he is talking and he is doing well. So that's an update on that case. The big one I know everybody's waiting on is my interview with Captain Hathaway. I didn't get Chief Dollinger. I was sort of kind of disappointed, but Captain Hathaway was super, super nice. We talked about fates. We talked about those left behind. And like I said, y'all, if anybody's coming wanting dirt or wanting details on the case, you're not going to get it in this series. Every interview I do is based on how it affected them. Now, one thing that he did tell me is that there is no kind of Moscow Police Department clause or any kind of rule. The police officers can talk to anybody they want to. They have no kind of, I don't know, I don't want to say a law, but they don't have any kind of, they can talk to who they want to. Yeah, there's no kind of code or anything that says keep your mouth shut or nothing like that. So I'm expecting to hear from some police officers in the next couple of days. I asked him how it affected him with his kids. And he said that there comes a time that you have to leave the uniform at the office, at the precinct. That was his word, at the precinct. And he said that after he went into that house and after he worked this case, that he learned really quick what that meant. And he said that he relied on family, he relied on community, and he relied on faith to help get him through. They have counseling. They are paying for all counseling for any of the officers that need counseling due to what they saw. They are allowing each officer to take their own path of recovery as far as the impact and how they dealt with the case. And I totally respected that. He said that as far as him and his personal life, that of course it put him in more protective mode, even though there's a slight again in Moscow, Idaho, that it made him really, really protect that family surroundings around him. And he said that even though his kids were young, that at first it was throw them in a room, lock the door, don't let them out, because this kind of evil does exist. And I will sit there and I will tell you that the conversation that he and I had was a heartfelt conversation. You could see tears in his eyes when he spoke of the 4 victims. And he told me that he did not know the victims. He had never met the victims. But they were a member of his community that he had served for over 20 years. And that they fell short in protecting their community. That somebody could come in and do something like this to 4 people in their community. And that was so profound to me. I mean, it was really profound that they feel like they fell short. And that's really sad because nobody could have ever predicted this. Nobody could have ever warned anybody. Nobody, I mean, yes, there's red flags and there's this and there's that, but there would have been no kind of way to tell who the victims were going to be. And I felt really, my heart hurt for him. It really did. It hurt my heart. Because they should not carry that kind of guilt. They should not carry any kind of shortcomings. They should not carry any kind of guilt. There was no kind of way that any of those police officers could have protected any of those four who died. Maddie, Kaylee, Xana, and Ethan. They could not have done anything. And, like I said, they do have counseling in place. And he said, that they realized that the recovery from this and the healing from this is individualized. And I thought that was so respectful that they didn't try to just clump everybody up and say, you're going to do it by these guidelines. They're letting everybody do it on an individual basis. And we talked about the internet. We talked about the rumors, about the corruption, about the, and basically he looked at me and he said, you can't believe what you hear on the internet. You can't believe what you hear on the news. And, basically that they had the gag order. They couldn't come out and debunk or come out and say that's lies or come out and say that didn't happen. We didn't say that. That's not how, y'all are stretching it or y'all are twisting it. They had to wait until the case was completely over, and there's still things that they have not corrected that needs to be corrected, But out of respect, it's like he said, after 3 years, some of the officers are just trying to put it behind them. And he said some are holding on to it for that learning experience and that, they don't know how to deal with it. So they're still dealing with it because some of them were very young. But the thing about it is the community as a whole has come together and they have been there for one another. And believe me, I've heard all the corruption. I've heard all the police are in on it, or this one did that, or that one did that. And until you sit down and you look eye to eye into one of these police officers as they have tears in their eyes, that's the only way that you will ever know that these police officers were not involved in this crime. There will nobody ever be able to tell me that any police officer at this police department had anything to do with this crime based on the tears that was in Captain Hathaway's eyes yesterday. There's no way. You don't get to fake that kind of emotion. You don't get to fake that kind of burden of guilt that you put up on yourself. You don't get to fake that. There's no way to fake that. And, when you're looking at a mother that's lost their son, that understands loss, I can guarantee you that I can pretty much pick up on if you're lying to me about death or not. And I understand that guilt. I live in that guilt. It's been 6 years. I live in it every day. I carry that guilt. And there's no way that I would be able to ever cover up that kind of guilt. So I would really like for everybody, if they don't get anything out of this interview except for the guilt that these officers carry. There was an officer that his kids are the same age as the ones who died. And he said that the impact on him was so profound that he literally almost called his kids home from college because he didn't want them to stay there any longer because of the fear, because of the, of what he had just witnessed or what he just saw, that not let me say witnessed. So, And that's just a little update on what I've been doing. I admit a couple of nights ago I was just done for. I was just I was just over it. I mean, like I said, I hadn't been in a motel room since New Mexico. Hadn't had like a real shower. I mean, I've been bathing, of course, but just a real hot shower and stuff like that because I'm staying in my car or I'm camping, Yes, they will never be able to unsee it. And that was exactly what he said. Is all the counseling in the world, thank you, Heather. Um, all the counseling in the world cannot take away what they saw. It cannot take away what they've had to go through investigating and what they've had to see and what they've had to hear. It can't ever take it away. The only thing, like he said, the only thing that counseling can do is help you deal with it. It can help you rely on family and friends and community and faith. And the one thing that he said to me before I left that day, yesterday as a matter of fact, he looked at me and he said, Kelly, keep the faith because faith is what's going to get you through it. Y'all, that's not a police officer that's involved in some kind of corruption. That's not a police officer. He didn't have to take the time to talk to me. They could have brushed me off and led me on my way. They knew me from nobody. I am an outsider. This man sat at a table across from me, and I was like, I feel like I took up. He said, "No, we're fine, hon. We're fine." And we talked about, how we could prevent it. And he was like, there was no prevention. That's one thing that he said he had to learn was that nobody could have prevented this. You know, and again, if you're expecting me to give you dirt on the case, it's not happening. I'm not discussing the case. I'm discussing first responders and a community that has been put through hell because somebody wanted to come into a place and do what they did. And they're the ones that did it, not the police officers, not the community, not the people of the community. And so, like I said, it's not about guilt. It's not about innocence. It's not about pro burger. It's not about guilter. This, for me, is bringing those left behind to the true crime community so that we can always realize that no matter what case we are researching, no matter what case we are looking at, we always remember that the victims' families, the victims' friends, the victims, there's no just turning the page of the book and them being alive again. They're gone forever. And I'm going to play one more video. I don't know if y'all seen it. It is actually me on the back lot of 1122. Hey, y'all. Well, Fat Butt. Fat Butt just walked from the intersection of Taylor Road and Linda Lane. I walked up Linda Lane to the dumpster, to the apartments, through the parking lot where the car turned around, went around Queen Road. I come around Queen Road Apartments, and I have now ended up in the back lot of King Road. Unfortunately for me, I did all that, videoing it, and didn't press record. So, it'll be another time when I take that hike again. But I figured while I was here, let's just see what this looks like. So, y'all know this is Queen Road Apartments. And look, y'all think I'm kidding when I say small. I'm talking small. I mean, I'll walk with you. Sorry about the dogs barking. They're in the house up there on the hill, which I think that would be the house on Walenta. Sorry if you can hear me breathing. So here's a fence. Oh my God, I could be walking. Wait a minute, I have to catch my breath. I could be walking where the perpetrator walked. So, y'all can see all down in here. Right there's where the house was. And there's the parking lot. I'm not trying to get arrested, so we're back out on the back lot. Now, let me explain how this happened. This back lot right here used to be a road. And where 1127 King Road is, it would come around and it would meet here. So the sliding doors of King Road was actually the front doors at one time. There's y'all a view. This is from the back. There's King Road Apartments. Okay. You got it. Where the house was. Y'all recognize that tree? It was right at the balcony. Oh, what a hill. There's the hill coming down. Queen Road Apartments. Okay. Got it. And we're back at 1122. Okay. Now, let me show you something. Remember the stepping stones? Right there they are. Well, they're not stepping stones. They're actually landscape blocks. But you see them in some of the pictures. That is the log cabin home. Okay. One 118. Here's where the house was. Wow. Wow. So 1126, right across the street, 1127. The road that runs in between 1126 and 1127 is King Road. It would come around and connect up to Queen Road. So that's how 1122 King Road got the King Road address instead of the Queen Road address. So 1118. It's just as emotional as it was yesterday. I mean, y'all can tell how small this is. I'm standing on the road. Okay. So there's one staircase. Wow. I'm sort of speechless right now. Another staircase. This is how close the apartments are. This would be where they parked. Right here. And right there is 1112. Right there. Hey, Jeff. I'm glad you asked that question. Um, oh, Unravel. Honey, I'm not going to say it's been my pleasure, but it has definitely been an enlightening experience. But let me see. Hang on. Oops. Whoa. Okay, y'all. Wait a minute. Okay, I muted it because there's not any sound. So, okay, we're coming up. I'm driving up behind the apartments. Okay, y'all see the apartment where you can see the yellow right in front of me? That is what they call apartment building number 52, Queen Road. It's still 500 Queen Road, but right here, okay, right here. If y'all will remember, there's a picture of them out there with the alternate light source, and they're doing the luminol or the amino black, and they're right here in this corner, and it's at the. This is the. You have the big two buildings for Queen Road, okay? Then the building that is right there at the parking lot where he would have turned around, where is Linda Lane. No, I have not seen him, Jeff. I walked, look, I walked from Taylor Road, the intersection of Taylor Road and Linda Lane, up to the dumpster, through Linda Lane Apartments, through the parking lot of Linda Lane and building 52, around the back of Queen Road Apartments into the back lot. And Jeff, I forgot to press record. I wasn't going back and doing that walk again. You can't see anything? No. Okay. Can y'all see? Okay, that building right there. Okay. Let me rewind. Can you see it now? Can you see it now? Is it playing? Can y'all see it? Jeff, can you see the video? No. Okay. Well, why didn't that work? Let's see. No, blue screen. All right, y'all give me 2 seconds. There's going to be a little bit of dead space, so y'all entertain each other just for a second. Can you see me? Oh, no. What's going on? Okay, hang on. Ooh, it's raining. Okay, can y'all see that now? Okay, I'm going to pause it right here. Okay, can y'all see that? Just let me know if you can see it. Hello, hello. See this. So I haven't heard back from the dog park yet. I was gonna email her today, and I've been working. Um, so I haven't emailed her yet. I'll probably email her in just a little bit. If not, it'll be tomorrow morning. Okay, can y'all see Queen Road Apartments? storm.
The walk, unfortunately, I
What the
didn't get
hell?
the card.
Whoa, what is this thing doing? Okay, sorry about that. I have a storm coming in. Okay, Jeff had asked about Building 52. So you have the two long buildings. My gosh, what a storm, and I'm in my car. Whoa. Okay, maybe that fixed it. Okay, so you have the two long buildings of Queen Road Apartments. Then you have Linda Lane Apartments, a parking lot where, he would loop around, and then this little short building. That little short building right in front of us is what they consider number 52 of the Queen Road. It's still 500, but this is where the number 52 comes in. And right there where the yellow wood is coming down, and you see like a yellow, I don't know if it's a doorway or what it is. You'll see when you get it closer to it. That is where they were doing the alternative light source with the amino black or the luminol, whichever one. Yeah, you can hear the storm. It is bad. But we're going to keep going through. And I'm going to pause it a couple of times because I don't know if y'all really realize how tight it really is. Okay, right there. This is where they were doing the alternative light source. This building right here. Now, this parking lot to the right is. Y'all, I'm sorry. This storm is really bad. But this is the building that's considered 52 building of Queen Road Apartments. And this is where they were doing the luminol or the amino black. There's the apartments. But y'all, look at this. Look at this. Look how tight it is. Now, y'all, I'm in a little Ford Escape. I'm not in a big SUV or I mean, that's how tight it is. Now, you can there yeah, he had definitely traveled this before. I mean, because this is just how tight it really is. And if my live cuts off, y'all will know it's because my internet just said poof, it's gone. So, Jeff, I hope that answered your question. I've searched video. Oh, I can get pictures of it. You want pictures of it? Yes, I can. Yeah, I'll find the door that says number 52 on it because I've been all up in there. Like I said, I walked it the other day and forgot to press record. And that's the reason that when I'm in the back lot, Jeff, did you see the video I just played? Can you go by to see? Oh, yeah, I can see every number. As a matter of fact, what I'll do after this storm, if the storm lets up, I will go through there and I will show y'all the doors. I mean, like when you like going through the I mean, you can tell this is me leaving King Road. And you can tell just how close, you can see the apartments right there. And that's just how close to the apartments I was. And like I said, I'm in a little Ford Focus, I mean, a Ford Escape, sorry. And that's how tight it is. And then this building, the little short building here. Now, what people don't realize is where this little walk through here, right down where this road sign is right here, there are steps that go down, and there's actually 3 apartments on the back side of this building. There's 3 apartments that are ground level, and I'll even get those if y'all want me to get those. But y'all can see just how tight it is. And right there is Linda Lane Apartments. Jeff, I'll go today and I will get a video of all the apartment numbers and stuff like that. And Jess and Art, I will do the same. Do you want it just for the small building or all of them? Oh, Heather, it's okay. Thank you so much for being here. I thank you. But this is what amazed me, is this right here. This. I mean, that is a tight, tight, tight squeeze. So, y'all, I'm going to jump off here because of this storm and everything. But I appreciate y'all coming in. I've got more footage. The one that I really did take a lot of pride in is the footage that I did behind the grub truck with the water fountain and everything. And you can see like where the girls ran to get in the car because they ran behind the grub truck. So I'll be live probably again tonight, but I just wanted to come live and give y'all some updates on the interview with like Captain Hathaway and the fraternity, and also give y'all an update on Austin, the DoorDash driver that was in the altercation. That car was close to, yeah, I mean, exactly. Thank you, Kel, so much for coming in. But the thing about it is Austin, the DoorDash driver that was in the altercation with the fraternity guy, he is out of a coma and he is talking. So I'll keep y'all updated on that, but it looks like that he is going to definitely make it through. So I love y'all, and I'm going to sit here in my car